I'm hoping that this explanation about currencies in other countries will help students who are struggling with converting from one currency to another or from dollars to that particular currency. We can't avoid that, folks. We're in a global economy. For a lot of our CCC students, very often their world is the Asheville Mountains, Myrtle Beach, and everything in between, and nothing out of the Carolinas, basically. But we're in a global economy, and we're going to have to deal with, we already are dealing with foreign ethnicities to us, some of us in the country, to different values of coins and currencies and stuff, and we have to deal with this. This is very relevant. I want to first of all show you how this chart works. They use the word per, and if you want to think of the word per as having like an underline with it, that might help. Think of the word per maybe as meaning there's a little line right there, and I'll show you how this works. I'm going to have you write the so this number works out right. I'm going to show you the example they've got for Mexico. They've got 1 peso. If you see right here, it says 1 peso equals $0.06584. The way they're getting this off this chart, if you want to look at it this way, think of, in this first column, put the number 1 right there where it says foreign, and the other column where it says foreign per dollar, put the 1 over here with the dollar, and you might want to read it this way. I'm going to take the numbers that are in this chart and put them in front of this word. I'll take the numbers in this column and put them in front of that word, and this might help out. So if I start on the column, and I'm going to change this color for you so I can talk to you very visually in this example before we do the problem. I'm going to write this one in blue. So if I'm talking about the blue right here, I want you to read this. Let's say for the British pound. I'm going to write for the British pound, that one right there. I'm going to say 1.414, and it says dollars. And I'm going to write the word dollars rather than the dollar symbol. And then per, you can either think of this as equal. I'll do like the book says right now. I'll put equal. And it says 1 foreign. 1 foreign, and the foreign in this case would be the word pound. So I'm putting 1 pound right there. So basically this means that $1.414 is the same as 1 pound in England, in London. Now, pound is not talking about how much you weigh. This is a unit of money, like dollars and cents are for us. They use pounds and shillings. All right? If I'm looking, for example, at the peso, and for the peso, I'll go to this one that has the 2 asterisks with it. Again, I put that number, that funky looking number, in front. So I'm going to go 0.0654, and it's the word dollars. Per, even though it doesn't mean equal, I'm going to put equal right here. And I'll put 1 foreign. The foreign one in this case is the word peso. So that's where they're getting the answer. In your example above the table, 1 peso is the same thing as $0.0654. Now, if you're doing the red one over in the second column, we write it this way. I'll take the British pound again. Now, again, I'm going over here on the red side now. I put that number that's unusual looking, the decimal number in the front, so I've got 0.7072, and it says foreign right there. Now, foreign would be the pound, the euro, the yen, or whatever. Foreign in this case for the British pound would be the word pound. And it says per dollar. And remember I said right there to put the 1 in front of that. So this is the way this one works. 0.7072 pounds equals $1. If I were going down here to the pesos, and again, if this is confusing you, take the video and replay it. Stop it, rewind it as many times as you need to for you to process it. I'll give you a little secret here. It took me 2 rounds. This is my second round of recording this video because I was getting myself confused for a minute. All right, for the peso in the red column, it's 15.19 foreign. Foreign means the one that ain't Shelby, North Carolina, Cleveland County. So 15.19, and this one is pesos. I'm dealing with Mexico right here. Equals, and it says per, and I told you to put a 1 in front of the dollar, And this may seem confusing at first when you start looking at both these sets of figures or conversions. You're thinking, well, that doesn't make sense to me. Well, one of them is showing the £1 in terms of dollars. The other one's showing $1 in terms of pounds. They don't work both ways. They're not reverses of each other. 1 peso in terms of dollars and $1 in terms of pesos. Now you can write these conversions that I've given you, and you can do this for the euro as well. You can write these as what looks like a fraction. That's why they use the word per right there. You can write these as a fraction, one on top of the other, and I'll show you that example specifically. We'll look at number 47 together. In number 47, which I'm going to put in green, it says you arrive in London with $400. Even though I arrived in London, I've got $400 to start with, and the key phrase they're asking for is how many pounds can you buy? Now, that, again, it's not talking about weight. A lot of people who are not used to anything but Cleveland County and a few places beyond there don't understand that necessarily. All right, I'm starting out in number 47 with $400. Now, I'm going to write that differently for a reason. I'm going to write it out as words so you have a visual right here, $400. Now, I want to end up with a problem that says how many pounds. So what I have to do is I have to use something in my arithmetic that lets me do dollars and pounds. All right, dollars and pounds, you've got two choices here, and you can use either one of these. If I go back up to the top, I've got right here, I have $1.414 in a pound, and I've also got over on the right-hand side 0.7072 pounds in a dollar. You can use either one of these you want to use. It is completely up to you. The situation becomes, with most everybody, do I divide or do I multiply? And here's the key to it. I'm going to use the one that I'm putting stars around on the left-hand side of your screen. $1.414 equals a pound. And what I have to decide here is which way am I going to write this? I have two choices here. I can either write this out as, I'm going to get myself a place here. Bear with me, I'm having to learn a new system with Windows 8 and with Office 2013, so it's a little bit crazy here having to write this. I can write this one of two ways. I can either write this as, let me mark my green marker here. I can either write this as $1.414 per 1 pound. What I've done is I've simply taken this guy right here and I've just moved it over here into my math problem. I can write it that way, or I can flip it over and write it the other way. How do I know which way to do it? I want to write it so that the word on top, dollars with 400, and the word on the bottom will cancel each other out. Well, if I multiplied these out, I would get dollar divided by pounds. So what happened here is I have it flipped the wrong way. I did that on purpose. I'm going to write this in the opposite direction. I'm going to put the 1 pound on top and the 1.414 on the bottom. So I'm going to write it like this instead. And I'll show you why for those who maybe are a little bit fearful or nervous about the math. I'm going to write the 1 pound on top and the $1.414 on the bottom. The reason I'm doing it that way is so that when I multiply these together, the dollars words will cancel out and I'm left with the word pounds. And it's like, okay, well, I still don't understand, Mike. Do I multiply or do I divide? Well, here's what you do. When you multiply fractions like you did in Math 60, remember the 400 is always understood to be over 1. So I've got 400 times 1 on top. I've got 1 times 1.414 on the bottom. Remember the dollars canceled out. So the only word I have on the screen is the word pounds or pound. Doesn't matter whether you put singular or plural. So in this case, I'm having to divide 400 by, getting my bearings here, 400 divided by 1.414. And I think if I actually do the math right here, I get something like, please forgive me if I get it wrong, I'm going to get something like $282, excuse me, so you're saying dollars, 282.88, I can't read my writing. I may have this not a perfect number, so forgive me if I'm off a couple of decimal places. I'm just basically doing the arithmetic right here. And again, what I'm saying in this problem is $400, which I started with in London, would be the same as 282 pounds. Now again, that's not weight, that's money values in England. All right? You could do the same problem with the other conversion factor if you wanted to. If this one bothered you, you could do it the other way. You could take the 0.7072 pounds and you could do it that way. And I'm going to write this up very quickly so you can see it just to give you a visual. I could write this as starting out with $400, and I'm going to multiply that by, you're going to have to let me zigzag on the screen, it's 0.7072 pounds per dollar. 0.7072 pounds per $1. I used the other conversion factor this time. The reason I flipped it that way is so when I multiply this out, the dollars go away. So in this case, instead of having to do division on the calculator, I simply say 400 times decimal 7072, and I'm going to get about the same answer for the problem. You would do problem number 48 exactly the same way, except now you're dealing with a unit in Europe that is called euros, that most of the countries have gone to now because of the economy. And you would find the euro to dollars conversion by taking this line of your screen that I'm highlighting and do that same little conversion. If you still have difficulties with the video, then I strongly suggest that you go to a tutor or to me and let's sit down one-on-one and go through this. Hopefully this helps you out.